Andrew Wilson asked a question during the Whatever podcast that made a lot of the women panelists uncomfortable. He asked this question. He asked, are most young women sex workers now? The thing is, I don't think most people understand what that question means. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 5 reasons why most young women, Gen Zs, are in fact sex workers. And this is so important, especially if you're going to be trying to date women between in their 20s, because most women in their 20s, especially if they're good looking, are sex workers. All right, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys and the women that want to understand them. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification button because I drop videos every week. Woo! Okay, let's get into this. So, I was a sugar daddy before for 1 year. I was married before for 20 years, and I've been single for 4 years. And I've been on hundreds of dates in the last 4 years. And like I said, I was also a sugar daddy. And regardless of being a sugar daddy, most of the dates I've been on have been with women in their 20s. So I know all about this and what Gen Zs are like. But don't take my word for it. I'm just going to describe what Gen Zs are actually like when it comes to their sexuality. So first of all, and I'm taking a look at all my notes here, Gen Zs are born between 1997 and 2012, okay? So if you're going out on dates with women in their 20s, they're most likely a Gen Z, okay? So the 5 things that make a Gen Z different than other generations, and this is how I'm going to prove my case that most are sex workers, all right? First is instrumental sexuality. Sexuality to the Gen Z is viewed as a tool, a resource, a form of leverage, and there's a clear separation between sex and emotional attachment. So, a great example is sugar babies. And most hot young women are sugar babies in some way, shape, or form. How I say that is because if they're dating an older guy and that older guy is providing for them in some way, shape, or form, their lifestyle, their gifts, their travel, helping with some bills, all these things. And in exchange, the man gets sex. Well, by default, she's a sex worker. Okay. So, number 2, high sexual self expression. So, Gen Zs have a strong comfort with their sexual language. So, many will say that they're bi and they have no problem saying that, or they're poly, or whatever it is. So, that's an example. Their visual display of their sexuality, especially in public. So you see women taking photos of their ass and their tits in the gym and using those photos to post on Instagram in a sexualized way and taking TikTok videos, etc. So Gen Zs just do not have the shame or need any secrecy like the previous generations. So that's number 2. Number 3, Gen Zs are transactional in terms of their mindset, and it's often unconscious. So they have a sexual attention that is linked to status, perks, access, and validation. Okay. So, for example, why do we have so many OnlyFans models joining or women joining OnlyFans? It's to because their sexual attention is linked to status, perks, access, and validation. Also, women that sell feet pics or any other kind of sexualized photos online. And by the way, there's a lot of women in their 20s that will get with an older guy, no problem, in exchange for some money. And there's even this going around. There's even guys that have an extra bedroom in their apartment, and they will say, hey, look, you can have free rent in exchange for some favors, if that makes sense. And college women are totally going for it. This is the Gen Zs I'm talking about, okay? So number 4, lower pair bonding expectations. So what this means is that the Gen Zs are more open to non-monogamy, situationships, short-term dynamics, no loyalty, no future intent, no emotional investment, okay? Commitment is delayed or not a priority. And believe me, I've seen this not only on sugar daddy sites, I've seen this on dating profiles. If she's in her 20s, I see this mostly. Mostly it's NSA, no strings attached, or non-monogamy, whatever. Terms that make me see that she ultimately doesn't want a commitment. She basically just wants friends with benefits. And believe me, like I said, guys, if money is part of the equation, most young, attractive women will totally give of themselves after so many dates, whatever, not necessarily right away, for the right price. Okay. And sometimes that price doesn't even have to be much. Like, for example, like I said, there's men out there that have 2-bedroom apartments and they're having somebody live with them in the other bedroom. It's not costing them any money. They're not paying anything, but they say, if you want free rent, I want some favors. Okay, number 5, and this is the last one. Sexuality is an identity, all right? So their sexual orientation, their kinks, their preferences, they're often central to their identity. I see a lot of women with the septum ring on their nose. Again, an expression of potentially their sexual preference or their sexuality because they're showing something on their face, right? And their sexual expression equals self-definition, ultimately. So there you have it. The 5 reasons why most young women are sex workers. And when I say sex workers, that means any exchange for money or favors in return for sex. And it doesn't have to be right away, but this has been my experience. Women in their 20s are very liberal when it comes to their sex. And if you add on some financial benefits, most is what I'm trying to say. Most of these young women will totally give themselves over time. Of course, there has to be some kind of a connection, but they are totally down for that transactional type of relationship. But I want to hear from you in the comments what you think, and we'll see you next time.